Welcome to IELTS Easy. Reading 1. What to expect in reading. This lesson will take a detailed tour of the IELTS reading test. It will explore the format and layout of the test and review the types of questions you may encounter.
Here are goals for this lesson. Take some time to carefully read them, and when you're ready, the IELTS reading test is a module where test-taking skills and your ability to manage time are extremely important. Students who typically do well know what to expect on the day. The IELTS reading module has historically been the biggest challenge for test takers, so having an overall understanding of the structure of the test is an important place to start. In the test you'll be given one reading test booklet and an answer sheet. The test takes 60 minutes. And during this time, you'll have to read 3 passages and answer a total of 40 questions. Unlike the listening module, you are not given extra time to transfer your answers to the answer sheet at the end of the test. You must write down all your answers within the allocated 60 minutes. Each reading passage is about 1,000 words in length. Some passages may have more questions than others. The test format can vary a little as well, with some test questions appearing before or after the actual reading passages. As you will come to see, it's very important to use your time wisely. When you consider that you need to read around 3,000 words and answer 40 questions, all in 1 hour, you can understand why the IELTS reading module is a challenge for test takers. Students, well-developed reading and comprehension skills are a must. Later in these lessons, I'll give you techniques that will help you to use your skills and use the time to your best advantage. Let's now take a closer look at the 3 reading passages. IELTS reading tasks are selected based upon topics of general interest, so any specialist knowledge or qualifications you may have about certain topics will probably not benefit you. Now, even though the topics are of general interest, they're covered in an academic way, with the use of academic English. Sometimes there are diagrams or graphs used in the test. The 3 reading passages also increase in difficulty as the test progresses, reading passage 1 being easier than reading passage 2, and reading pass 2 being easier than reading passage 3. So you should allow for extra time on reading passages 2 and 3. There are a number of different types of questions asked in the academic reading test. Some of them you will be familiar with. Others you may not have seen before. I will now go through the most common types of questions asked. You'll be able to further familiarize yourself with these question types in the practice labs. One question type which you can expect to encounter in the test is true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Both types of questions are similar, but you must be very careful to use the correct words in your answer. In other words, don't write yes on your answer sheet if your question requires you to write true. In this type of question, you are to confirm whether the information given in the question matches the information in the passage. You must answer with yes, or no, or true, or false, or not given. Make sure you read precisely what's required of you. IELTS candidates have problems with these questions because they fail to understand the difference between no or false and not given. Simply put, if you write false or no in response to a statement, you're saying that the question is the opposite of the information presented in the passage. If you write not given, you're saying that there's nothing written in the passage about the statement. Again, this is a very common type of question, so make sure you practice them carefully in the lab. Short answer questions are another common type of question found in the reading test. In this type of question you're required to find the correct answer using the correct number of words. If a question asks for no more than 5 words, be careful to stay within that limit. If you use more words, you'll be marked wrong. One point to note: when a series of short answer questions are asked in the test, you can generally expect that the questions are written in the same order as the information in the reading passage. This is true of some other question types as well. In other words, the answers are not randomly scattered in different locations throughout the passage. Knowing there is some order to the questions can be helpful in finding the answers. Complete the sentence is another common type of question. In this type of question you must complete the sentences in a paragraph, which has a number of blank spaces. There are two different styles of filling in the blank. In the example on the left of your screen, you must use the same words from the passage to fill in the gap. In the other example, you must fill in the gap with a word from the box. Complete the sentence questions often cover the main ideas of a large part of the reading passage, so a good understanding of the main points and how they may be expressed is important. In answering these types of questions, I'll present some techniques which can help you to do this in later lessons. But don't forget, make sure you write the correct spelling on your answer sheet, or you'll be marked wrong. Perhaps the most familiar type of question for test takers is multiple choice. In a multiple choice question, you are required to select an answer from the choices given. An example of a multiple choice question is shown here on the screen. Groups of multiple choice questions are generally laid out in the same order as the information in the reading passage. And knowing this can help you to locate answers more easily. Another question type asks you to match the answer from a given list. The aim here is to see if you can correctly identify relationships between two different pieces of information. This is not always easy. You'll usually be given many more choices than you require, so you will need to carefully examine the possible answers. Another point to remember is that the ideas are presented in no set order. To do well in this type of question, you need to be able to quickly locate information in a passage. I'll demonstrate techniques in later lessons that can help you to improve your ability to do this. One final question type I'll cover is locate the information. As the name suggests, you're asked to locate information within a particular reading passage. This type of question tests your ability to follow the writer's thinking process. For this type of question, each paragraph in the reading passage is labeled with a letter. For example, if there were 8 paragraphs in the reading passage, they would be labeled A to H. Your job is to find out which paragraph contains the information asked. In the question, take, for example, question 18 on the screen. Here you would need to find in one of the paragraphs A to H, where the effects of air pollution in cities are specifically addressed. One of the best ways to prepare for this type of question is to use your pen and highlight key ideas in the passage as you read the text. We'll discuss this concept in our later reading lessons. There are other question types that I haven't covered, but this completes the main ones that you'll encounter. Having a good understanding of the question types and how to approach them is a real advantage in doing well in the exam. Well done! You have now completed this lesson. Before move on to the next lesson, make sure you fully understand the lesson above. I recommend you to review from the beginning. See you in the next lesson.